Sundays, the day of the sun, are great days to just talk about astrology. And I thought this would be kind of a cool deal, kind of coming from my little roadside kit, a motel at a place undisclosed to humanity. Why astrology? Why is astrology important? Why do we study it? Why is there an interest in it? Why do people give their lives to it in many cases? I know personally when I first took a look at it after most of my adult life not looking at it, I was immediately connected. It just resonated for me. Hand in glove fit. Answered a bunch of questions. That's one personal story. I mean, everybody has their own. I think what's behind it is that at its essence, astrology is a symmetric, geometric, mathematical, let's call it sacred geometry, replication of the design of the universe. Plato talked about our souls being spun into existence, okay? If you look at one of the pictures on Google, and I think even if you go on YouTube, they're animated, search up one that is the animation of the night sky or time lapse of the night sky. What you see are the stars moving in a clockwise fashion. And of course, because the Earth is the center of that focal point, then it looks like it's spinning around the Earth. So when you extrude that to our own creation, we are literally spun from light. We're spun from love. We come from love source, pure love source, but we are spun into existence through the spinning of light, the movement of light. In fact, it's kind of interesting because if you think about or consider the Genesis account of creation, if man was so important, why was man not created first? The stars in the heavens were created before man. So here is this map that we've been given. And oh, by the way, if you want to look back at several occurrences of this kind of thing in the Bible, who were the Magi who came to the nativity setting when the baby Jesus was born? They were astrologers, Persian astrologers. What did Joseph say when his brothers reappeared to him in Egypt about his divination? If you don't think that Joseph was not probably a master astrologer and at least had a team of astrologers, then you're missing the cultural mark because Egypt was huge into astrology. In fact, they were one of the formation cultures of astrology of what we have today. But here we've been given this map of what we were spun from. And what's really, really cool is one of the foundational kind of tenets of astrology is the birth time, right? You have to know your correct time of birth. Because what we're doing in astrology is marking the beginning of something and what the sky was like, what the energy of the sky was like at that moment. So this is where you can extrude and use astrology for other predictive type things. So if you're wanting to start, for example, a business, you can look into astrology and find out when the best time to start that business is. Unlike our birth, which is, unless it's surgically induced, is something that basically happens when it happens. And now understanding astrology the way that I've come to understand it, that is all part of our soul journey. But on these created things that we choose to do, we can obviously look ahead on the chart and find times and best times to do things. Want to plan the best time to begin a marriage? You could look for certain Jupiter and Venus placements and time it accordingly. But then I was listening to some material recently that was talking about this spinning into reality and this whole thing about astrology just being at the base and the core because of its geometry of the foundation of the universe and it being the map to our co-creation. And one of the tenets, again, of astrology is the beautiful way that it handles polarities. So obviously this Earth school is based on duality, right? It's based on the law of opposites, the law of polarity. One of the universal laws is the law of polarity. And astrology, probably better than anything else, shows us how those polarities can play out energetically. So as I was putting all of that together, which astrology, you've heard, like what I try to do just on the podcast, is very simply and in a fun and easy way to understand, is put together what the different energies are. So if you put together the spinning with co-creating, with divine source, which astrology certainly points to, and polarity, then it made me, and opposites. I mean, just think of opposites, the opposite side of the chart. We talk about that all the time. That our co-creation, so our manifesting, our bringing things, our working with the universe to bring things into existence, spins out of the tension or struggle between the opposite energies around what it is that we are trying to co-create. And I'll just tell you, if you stick that under the brim of your hat for the rest of the day, week, month, and ponder on that, it will open up a world of oh wows. Our co-creation with the universe is spun, circular, spun from the heavens through the energies represented by the planets, particularly out of the tension or the struggle of resolving the opposites.